Another thing that you did on BrownsFilmBreakdown.com, 5 mistakes the Browns must avoid making in the 2025 NFL Draft. Take us through those.
Yeah, so there's some things I just have opinions on, and I wanted to kind of lay out those mistakes that I'm worried about them making in this upcoming draft. So, the first one is basically that I don't think that they should reach for a quarterback. I think if you're reaching for a quarterback too high, if you don't think there's a guy there after the second overall pick that makes sense at the second overall pick, then don't take him, right? If there's not a guy there at 2, but you want to trade to 15, then you should probably just take him at 2. So it's just a proper realization of what you think this quarterback is worth. And then, I don't think they should be trading up several picks, giving up premium picks like 67 or 94 to go up and get a quarterback in the first round. They need all 4 of those picks in the first 3 rounds to bolster some position rooms that are really weak. So I think you're staying at 33, perhaps moving up 1 pick or 2 to the end of the first round to maybe get that 5th year because you want it. But that for me is a spot where I just don't think you should be reaching for a quarterback. Like I said, if you think a guy is worth trading up to 15, then why don't you just trade down a couple spots into the 4 or 6 spot and take him at those spots and make sure you get the guy and maybe add a couple more picks to try to maybe replicate Travis Hunter in the aggregate. That's kind of the way I would view it. Running back at 33, I think is too high. I think the class is too deep, and I think there still should be a targeting of valuable, more premium positions. So I'm more apt or open to running back in the their early third, late third round pick or early 4th round pick. I think you can get a really talented running back at that spot. Obviously, pair him with a running back maybe late in the draft, and one of your, the Browns have 3 picks, 192 and beyond. Maybe packaging those picks, moving up, or getting a UDFA. So I'm not going running back at 33. I am not taking Tyler Shuck. No offense to Tyler. I just don't think his age, injury history, and some of the concerns in the film, I'm not taking him until at least the 3rd round. I would prefer the late 3rd round pick personally, in that 90s range, but I could say confidently I would not go higher than pick 67. I think that's too soon. I think, again, the risk factors in the tape with how he handles pressure, with like I said, a guy who's going to be 26 years old during the season, and then the injury stuff too. It's just too much to risk moving that spot to pick 33 to take that player, or as some have hinted, maybe even moving into the late first round. I find that hard to believe. Another thing I don't want to do is overextend at tight end. I think there's some really quality tight ends in the middle 3rd round to late round. So I'm not open. I'm open to it at 33 if maybe like Colston Loveland is there, but I don't want to overextend at that position because really my theory here is that's David's here a couple years more at minimum, and that's a position that maybe is getting on the field for 40 to 50% of snaps. Now injuries can happen, and you kind of take it with a grain of salt because you can't really bank on injuries happening. But I would say that's a position that is at the baseline not going to play a ton. So I don't want to overextend unless I see a really valuable player there at 33 that is going to change the dynamic of my offense. So I think you can get the Harold Fannons, Elijah Arroyo types in the middle rounds, that 3rd round pick, maybe late 3rd or early 4th, that could help you out at that position. So I'm not overextending at tight end. And then the last one is don't make multiple late 6th and 7th round picks. They have 3 picks from 192 and beyond. Actually, I think they have 4 selections pick 192 and beyond. I'm packaging those picks to move up at some spot in the draft, maybe taking 2 of those and making them a 6th round pick in this draft, or taking a 7th rounder and making it a 6th round the following year. I don't think 4 picks 192 and beyond is going to help your team this year. So use those as assets for other places in the draft to move up, or use them as assets to get better picks in the following season. That's the way I would view it.